You want to make a toast with me?
Kim White and her daughter, Kristin Halpin, have always had a special bond.
We celebrate our Fridays. And we always look at the time on the clock.
But the tradition of toasting and celebrating anytime they are together on a Friday afternoon only began last year after a terrifying ordeal in Kim's Leawood home back on May 13th, which also happened to be Friday the 13th.
It was at 4:38, was the call.
Kim spent the day working in her son's yard and decided on a whim to invite Kristen and her grandson over for a quick visit, if they had time. Kim thanks God they did have time, because within 10 minutes of their arrival, Kim went into cardiac arrest.
She was showing me some landscaping photos of what she had been doing at my brother's house. Suddenly, she closed her eyes tightly, clutched her chest, and said my name 2 times, and then immediately lost consciousness.
When I passed out, Kristen went into an immediate engagement.
Kristen, who was 7.5 months pregnant at the time, knew her mother was in trouble. She was unconscious and wasn't breathing. Kristen immediately called 911.
One of those life-changing moments where it's fight or flight. In that moment, I fought. I knew I had to fight. I knew she needed help. And I didn't have a choice. There wasn't an option.
Kristen pulled her mother to the floor and started CPR.
The first responders and the chiefs who came here said clearly to us that day that there is an 8% chance of survival when cardiac arrest happens in the home. 8%.
Within 90 seconds, first responders, including firefighter Brittany Youngquist and master firefighter Travis Bloomingdale, were there.
Kim was down on the floor, didn't have a pulse, so we immediately took action.
In 2021, Kim was diagnosed with cardiac sarcoidosis. It can lead to scarring of the heart and interrupt the heart's ability to keep a rhythm. Kim has since had an internal defibrillator put in to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I know it's a hospital of excellence in academia and such, but it truly is also a hospital of hope. And that is always extended to me and to my family.
Kim also credits first responders with getting her to the hospital. She personally thanked them during a special ceremony at City Hall when Kristen was given a life-saving award. Kim now partners with Leawood Police and Fire to teach CPR in the community, like at her parish. Kim and Kristen have an amazing story and will never forget Friday the 13th and how lucky that day was for them.
It was one of the worst days of my life, which quickly became one of the best days of my life because they saved her and she was revived.